Dude, what a mess.
Hey, Matt. Josh is just in a accoutrement anyway to the podcast. Are you going to compete again next year?
I don't know yet. We're waiting until like all the stuff is released. You know, like every year there's been changes, and it's like you hear the rumors of. Like I remember back, like, oh, you know, there's rumors of super regionals or regionals are going away, all that stuff, and we don't put together an attack plan until like we see facts. You know, even when it comes from a super reliable source. Yeah. So right now it's just enjoying the off season. You know, we're moving here soon, and so we just got other shit going on. We haven't really talked about that. I'm back.
Josh, second time you've interrupted the champ. Please don't do that.
Oh, he's gone again.
So there is like, so you really like, you haven't committed to competing again. That may have been the last time we saw you compete.
I mean, every year. I mean,
okay.
Like so after the games this year, I made a comment of people like, all right, you know, what's next? And I was like, I haven't even thought that far yet. Like I make no future plans while I'm training for that competition. Like I'm not making plans for the 2021 anything. So when someone asked, like, and my response was like, I don't know yet. I need to have we're going to have like, Sam and I are going to have some life talks. And everyone took their interpretation of that. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, I've said that same line for like the last like 3 or 4 years. And like, Sam and I sitting down, like, all right, what's our goal this month, this year, the next 5 years? Like, where do we want to see ourselves? So yeah, that's that. Are you flipping me off?
No, that was for Josh because
that answer wasn't like enough a juicy enough one for you.
I'm trying to listen to you, and I'm watching Josh's picture come in and out on the Zoom call. That makes total sense, but it wouldn't have been like that after year one, after you won it, or after the first year that you didn't win it. If someone would ask you, would have been like, "Yeah, I'm coming back next year." Just things have changed.
I think earlier on, I would have that quick response, just because I knew it's what people wanted to hear. But as I've spent more time in the space, and you know, like my relationships have grown, my priorities have changed, all this stuff. I try to just give more thought to my answers, have more substance to my answers. So it's not just like, when does training for the next season start? Oh, it starts tomorrow. No, it fucking doesn't. Like, no, I'm going to take some time off. Like, I'm not going to train for a little bit. I'm going to, you know, it's not just me. Like when I compete, it's not just my effort going into it. There's a lot of people that help me along the way. So I need to take their considerations into it as well.
Sorry, Josh just popped on again, and I'm looking at that framing of his shot. He looks like he has the head of a 5'2" man on the body of a man who's 7'3". Do you see that?
Yeah, I am 7'3". Don't worry about me, bro. Don't worry about me, my body, my head. Don't worry about it.
I was trying to figure out, I'm like, why would Josh and Matt do a podcast with me? And it was weird. I know why Josh is doing it. He feels sorry for me.
Why is that? Fair.
And then I'm like, and then this whole thing goes down with you and Rich, and I'm like, oh shit, that's why Matt's doing it, because he has a vacancy in one of his slots for friends. So we've just kind of like timed it perfectly and slipped right in.
No, my friendship booklet, it's small but it's full.
So you're not really a friend, Sevan.
Oh damn.
No, this was like, I don't know. Not doing anything else. What day is it? It's Wednesday. Yeah, my Wednesday's free, man. This was, I had 3 things on my to-do list, and this was one of them.
Is it a risk?
Is there a risk?
No, go ahead. What did you say, Josh? What are the other 2?
I said, what are the other 2?
I had a meeting at noon, and I had to work out.
Shake hands?
Meeting with who was
Shake hands, take pictures?
Oh, yeah, you know. You know, that's my favorite thing to do. But yeah, like I had to put working out on the to-do list to make sure I remembered to do it.
That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Sevan, what are you doing? What are you doing with all your free time?
I'm just coming up with names of possible names for our podcast. You want to hear them now that Josh is here?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is Great Dudes, the Great Dudes podcast. The second one is Matt and Sevan make Josh relevant again.
I mean, Sevan, I think you're in that boat as well. Like, when was the last time you did a documentary?
Hey, if you look at I had it down as that, but I didn't want to be too self-deprecating. The third one is short, shorter, and shortest.
Okay,
that one.
That's not that good. That's pretty generic. Short jokes are just so boring any days. Like, come on, man. It's like the only thing people have to say to me is short jokes. It's like, if that's all you got, I'm living pretty good.
Yeah.
And my final one is
Whoa, what is this? What? Hey, come on, dude.
What?
That kid's clothes on. What is he, a CrossFitter?
And my what was my final one? My final one was actually my top pick. Two person.
What was it? You froze on me.
Yeah, you cut out.
Two personalities and Matt.
Love it.
That's cute.
I think we found it.
I think
yeah, as long as my name is in the headline and you guys aren't even mentioned, I'm totally happy.
I think we're gonna make it Matt with 2 T's though. Everyone knows that.
Matt, did you see Josh had all his eggs in one basket. His whole life he's just been relying on his body. First the stint in the Navy, and then the CrossFit stint. Do you ever worry like, oh shit, like every day you go work out, is there some level of stress that's like, oh shit, what if I get hurt? Like, what if it's like you have one fucking Formula One car and you can't crash it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had that when I was weightlifting, and then I broke my back and I was like, oh wow, I have nothing. That's why like I've kind of structured my life the way I have with CrossFit, of like, I kind of take it one day at a time, and like, I'm kind of always half expecting to like either re-break my back or like my knee just bend the wrong way or something. So yeah, I mean, it's a very, very real possibility. Something
sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I mean, I was just going to mention, like, I watched like Josh Bridges with his career of like, I mean, he's still killing it. Like, his spending habits are through the roof. And I'm like, oh, okay, if he's pulling it off, maybe I can.
Nah, what I was going to say was, so how we grew up in the sport, right? How I grew up in the sport was there was no off season. You were always in the best shape of your life. You were always going as hard as you could. And it was almost like
so dumb.
It was the most intelligent thing I've ever done. But I remember when Matt comes on the scene and we're in London doing the Nike shoe release. Sevan, you were probably there. You were a big Nike guy when Sevan. And so I remember me and Matt comes up with the workout. And literally, it was just like, it was mind blowing to me because Matt stopped doing the workout halfway through the workout. He was just like, no, man, I'm done. Yes. And I was like, what just happened? I'm like, it was so foreign to me because I was like, I've never seen a guy just like literally stop doing the workout. I was blown away. And at first I'm like, this guy's weak. I'm like, this guy, whatever, dude. Like, that is pathetic. Like, why would you ever do that? And then it comes to find out the guy's pretty intelligent when it comes to knowing his body. And he also is going to take downtime after the season. He actually has a season for the sport of CrossFit. It was he's got to be the first guy to do it in the sport, right? And
Oh yeah.
to be at the level that he's at, right? It was super indulgent, and Matt's gonna have a long career. For me, it was burn the house down, run the bus until the wheels fall off, right? Like, and if the wheels fall off, I'm gonna get out of the bus and I'm gonna grab a rope and I'm gonna start pulling the bus. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm at in my life.
It's kind of fun.
Oh,
like, yeah, like I mean, that's what I did through the 2015 season. After the 2015 games, I literally had to like contemplate of like, can I put my body through this one more year? I didn't know if I could. Like my elbows were jacked up, my ankles were jacked up, like I was hurting. And I remember like I trained so hard right after that. I had to go get x-rays on both hands and both hips because I thought I had bone spurs. And I was like, okay, I'm like mid-20s. This isn't sustainable. And I was like, and then I kind of started looking at it like, well, of course it's not sustainable. Look at what I'm doing to my body. And like, I'm like, dude, like I did Olympic weightlifting for 10 years and that's all about tapering, peaking, like everything. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's the very smart thing to do. You know, I've had some interactions, like I remember like training with Willie George and like I've done like a few sponsor trips with him, and he was joking with me. He's like, people ask me what it's like training with you. And he's like, I don't know. He doesn't train, you know? I train with him in February. He no train. I train with him in April. He no train, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Matt has had a different take. And I don't know if maybe he's just doing stuff in his garage when no one's really watching differently. And obviously he's putting in the work, but it was very eye-opening to me actually, to make me think, wow, through 16, 17, or through 16, I would say 16 was probably the first year I decided to I took some time after the games. Prior to that, it was literally day one. Like I'm talking, you left the games on Sunday, you probably took a rest day on Monday, Tuesday, you're back in the gym and starting progressions. You know what I mean? Starting, not obviously going as hard as you could, but you were starting progressions for strength. You were starting progressions for whatever it was that you need to improve on for the following season. So, but
even that doing progressions, like how new is that? Like I remember when I first came in, no one followed like an 8-week squat cycle or whatever it was, or rowing intervals. Like there was no progressions or building off a foundation you built. When I first came in, it was like, nope, you throw some random movements on the wall and you do them. And it's like, all right, time to build off this.
I think the sport of CrossFit has definitely evolved so much because exactly at the beginning it was, right? We all believed in the ideology behind CrossFit, which I think, Sevan, you probably drink the Kool-Aid the most, even though you were fired by them. But yeah, like, and to an extent it is, but you're right. Like as in the sport right now, we have to have progressions. Now you have to be getting better at certain things. And if you're not progressing, if you're not using progressions for whatever your shortcomings are, or whatever it is that you are have weaknesses in, like you're never going to get there, right? Because you can't do it randomly.
Yeah. Oh,
when you say Matt stopped the workout, was it because it was a photo shoot and they were done taking pictures, so he just stopped, or like you guys were actually like, I'm trying to figure out. I'm actually not believing that story. I'm struggling with
this is straight. We came up with the workout. I don't even remember if they were taking videos of us. They might have been.
I have no memory of this, just FYI. Yeah. But it does sound like something I would do.
Yeah, it was a rope climb, double under, lunge, front squat workout. And
I do remember this.
Yes, and it was in that big open room. Big open room. And we were doing like 5 or 6 rounds, and literally like we were on like round 3 or 4, and Matt literally, I was on the rope, and I remember looking over and I see Matt walking off, and I'm like, I'm ahead of Matt. I'm thinking ahead, like I'm ahead of him right now. Why is he stopping? You know, like
I have multiple friends that have stories like this.
Yeah, I was just shocked. And O'Keefe, I remember that was one of the first times I got to hang out with O'Keefe, who I love. Such a great guy. And he's like, yeah, man, Matt just wasn't feeling it, so he decided to stop. I'm like, what? You know, like,
yeah, why, Matt? What happens? What happens, Matt? You're just like, hey, this is like, why does that happen?
I mean,
Why do
if
you?
I'm in my off season and like, you know, just doing random metcons isn't a priority, you know, I am notorious for like over programming for myself, and like I know the stimulus of what I'm like striving for, so I know the results that I want from the workout, and I'm taking a guess or especially early on when I would just over program by accident. And so like I would start the workout and I would like be halfway through it and I'm like, oh no, I got what I wanted out of this. So what's the point of just like continuing to thrash my body and
I think it's because
keep
people
going?
see it written on the. I think people write it down and then they feel obligated, right, Josh? I mean, I mean that's what I do. If I
Oh,
write something down in my garage, I'm kind of screwed because if let's say it's good at 10 rounds, but I wrote 20 rounds, all of a sudden I'm like, Jesus, I wrote it down.
Yeah, and
But
like
I've
there is a fine line of like, you know, I want to make sure it doesn't trickle over to like me just taking the easy way out and be like, no, I'm done. You know, I'm breathing hard. I'm like, this hurts, so I'm done, and using that as an excuse. So I mean, it's fairly calculated. It's not just me looking for the easy way out. Like as the season progresses, and I know the volume needs to go up, the intensity needs to go up, the weaknesses are showing up more and more often. Like once it's time to grit through the pain, I am 100% doing it. But I assume because it was a Nike trip, I mean, it was probably like January, February, something like that.
Yep.
Like at that time, I'm like, well, why am I even training right now? Like, I'm like, oh, I'll get a little sweat so I don't feel like terrible about myself. And I think we had to do like a thruster rope climb workout that night, right? In front of
Yep.
the group. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I was probably just saving myself so I could beat you in front of people.
You know, that was
Truth,
actually where
truth.
that was where I learned, because the only reason you beat me in that workout was because of your descents on the rope climbs.
The only reason.
Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. It was your descents on the rope climb. And that's where I learned I had to be able to basically just free flow a descent on a rope climb. Hey, you beat me fair and square, man. No one's saying you didn't beat me. I'm just kidding. I was just pointing out why.
Took you to school. Andy took you to school.
Pointing out why you
Yeah, I mean, you
why
get
you
to the
won.
point, you get to the point of like, all right, you can only go so fast while you're working. Now, how fast can you like come down? You know, it's the same as like cycling snatches, cycling chest to bar. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, I hit my limit on how fast I can get up to the bar, how fast I can get up to the top of the rope. Now I got to find a way to get down faster.
Exactly. There it was, and I learned. It was lesson learned from me. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
like,
it.
The way I do rope climbs, it smells like someone's like doing a burnout in their car. You just smell rubber. You just smell the burn.
Yeah,
because I just
exactly.
free fall and then clamp at the last second and hope I save myself enough space.
It's either your shoes burning or your inner thighs. One of the two.
Yeah. Good thing Nike
Matt,
makes the best shoes and they hold up.
Can you teach someone how do you know that, like, you obviously have like some sort of, it's not a thermometer obviously, but you have something that you're inside of you where you're measuring this output.
Yeah.
Can you teach someone that, or it's just something you personally have figured out over the years? Like, could you teach, like how you taught Josh how to climb down a rope? Could you teach Josh how to?
No, I let him figure that out on his own. He was too proud to ask.
I just noticed.
I think there's a lot of stuff that I do that could be taught or explained to someone. I think there's just a lot. I don't think many athletes are kind of breaking down things the way I do. But then I do. There are some that it's like repeatedly, you know, they're going to go out way too hot and crash and burn. And so I've never felt what they're feeling in a workout. So I don't know if it's that they have the same feelings that I have and they're just ignoring them, or if they genuinely hit the workout at that pace and they're like, oh no, I can't hold this. And then they're just surprised every time. So I don't know. I've never like done a workout in someone else's body.
Yeah, I think it's what it is. I think you're going to see it, or what I believe it to be is people not being able to know how to control that red line, right? Like they don't know how to control their nerves. They don't know control how their anxiety of going into a workout like that when you're standing next to your competition. They don't know how to control that red line, right? And I think the best do. And even the really good do, because I think a guy like Noah Olson does it a lot, right? And he's still a really great CrossFitter. Jason Khalipa was one of the best there was at it. He did it constantly. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have that. And I don't know if it was just not being able to compete as an individual. I don't know if he never did those people never did an individual sport where I think you really learn how to do it because you're the only person you can be reliant on. Where when you're doing a sport like Olympic weightlifting, right? Matt is the only person out there on the floor. When I wrestled, I was the only person out on that mat. I couldn't, like, no one else could control how I felt. And I think that playing an individual sport is a huge advantage for people in CrossFit because obviously, well, individual side, right? It's an individual sport and you don't have anybody else to rely on.
Yeah, I think like I agree with that 100% of, you know, I think my past experience, and especially at a young age, you're walking out on a platform, everyone is watching you. There's only one lifter going at a time. And then you're wearing a spandex suit. Like that's the most uncomfortable thing you can do as a child. And it's just like all eyes on you. All right, everyone's gonna either watch you make the lift or everyone's gonna watch you fail. But yeah, like I think there's a ton of variables that go into it. Like I've seen people that they beat me in training all the time, and then they go into a live competition and they just crumble. And it's like I just watched you do that workout. Like the competition released the workout weeks ago, and then you just did it in training and say 10 minutes, and then you go to the competition. You took you 12 or 14, whatever it was. And I just never understood that disconnect. So I think there is something of just how people perform in front of an audience or in front of other people, because like your senses get dulled because you're on such high alert to these other things. So maybe now you're not listening to your respiratory rate. You don't realize how high your heart rate is. You know, you make little mistakes of like, I forgot to chalk, or I forgot to whatever it was, you know. But yeah, I think there's a ton of variables. But so I don't know if I'm doing something differently or if I'm approaching things in a different mindset. But I mean, I think there are a select few that are incredible at it, and then a lot that just kind of missing the boat.
Have either of you had COVID?
I think I did. I think I did recently. I tested negative.
I had it like, Sammy, how long ago was it? Like 2 weeks? Oh, sorry, Sammy can't. I had COVID. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago I had it.
Did you post about it?
No.
No, keep that shit secret.
No, I mean, it was just like, I was like, there's nothing to gain by this. I think there's so much fear being put out in the media of like what this is doing. And I was like, I just don't want to contribute to that side of things. I had it. I still worked out every single day. I felt perfectly fine, but I lost 100% of my taste and smell.
Wow.
And so like, it was really strange. Like no taste. I could take a sip of like a double shot of espresso and a cup of water, and I could not tell the difference. Like I ate, like one night I was like, I still don't think I have it. I still don't, like I'm in denial. And I took like, we had sushi and I took the full glob of wasabi and just like ate it. Nope, nothing. I was like,
did you actually did you actually test positive?
No, I never went and tested. It was on a hunting trip I went on, like 3 days after, everyone in the group chat was like, yep, we all have it. And they all got tested, all this stuff. And there was 3 of us that were like, super strange that we don't have any symptoms. And then it was like a week later, one of those 3 guys texted me, was like, hey, do you still have your taste? And I was like, nope. Funny you should say that. And he's like, yeah, I just went and got tested. I lost my taste. I got tested. I'm positive. So, and that was just another, I'm like, I don't want to like go spend $160. Like, it's not going to change anything I'm doing.
Of course not. Of course, Matt doesn't want to spend $160. He doesn't have $160, obviously. Cheapest.
No, but like what's going to change if I have it? Like I already put myself into quarantine. I already stopped. I already canceled all my plans.
Your life,
so
like my life, is quarantine.
Yeah,
pretty
like,
much.
I see like one person every day, and then if O'Keefe comes into town, we hang out. Sevan, have you had it?
I don't know. I mean, like a few times I've thought I've had it. I haven't lost my taste or my, what's the other thing? My sight. What do you lose?
Smell. Your smell.
Sight.
I mean, I don't understand how I could not have it. My kids just go around and collect germs all day, every day. They touch everything. I've woke up a couple times with like just like a little tickle in my throat, but and a few times I've felt a little weaker. Like my PR squat clean went down to 85 pounds instead of my regular 95 pounds. But what? Don't laugh.
I mean, it was last January. I thought I had it. Like I was laid up. I was crushed. And like antibiotics didn't work, all this stuff. And so I just kind of assumed like, I must have had it. Never really thought anything of it. And then it was like 2 weeks ago that like I actually got the symptoms that went with it. And like everyone I was with that week prior all had it. They were all tested. But like it was a little strange. I was still working out every day, like doing assault bike intervals, doing full workouts. Energy was good, sleep was good, everything. But I literally just had no taste of food. And
how about the other people in your group? Did they get sick?
Yeah, they all just lost their taste and smell.
But that's it. They didn't get like sick and weak and
no,
vomit
I think
or headache.
one a couple of weeks prior, he thought he had the flu, like he was hurting. But everyone else, like from that hunting trip, was just like, yeah, lost my taste. Which, like, you know, it's great that you still feel good, but then like I was really concerned of like I didn't realize how much I enjoyed the flavor of food. I always just kind of was like, oh, you know, just eat out of necessity. If it tastes good, that's a bonus. But then like it was really sad of like we were in Texas and like ordering food in, like we're not going out to get food anymore, and like eating all my favorite foods and just had no flavor. And I was like, this is really disappointing, and I really hope this goes away soon.
Are you enjoying any part of this Rich and Matt drama?
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go.
Who is this question for, me or Josh?
Well, it was for you, but I actually care about Josh's answer more than yours.
Oh no.
No,
I mean, enjoying it all?
Like on my end, there's nothing enjoyable about it. Like I don't like, you know, like I joke about it all the time of like I love drama when I have nothing to do with it. When like it's just like watching some shit from the other side of the room, I'm like, yeah, this is the greatest. It's reality TV but real. And but like as soon as it involves me, I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah, so there's nothing enjoyable about it.
How old are you, Matt?
I'm 30.
I'm, you know, when I started CrossFit, there wasn't even like good internet. You couldn't even like post pictures on the website because the upload was so slow.
When did you start?
2006.
I started in January 2005. It's not a big deal.
This isn't a bit dick swinging contest.
It is, but it is.
Story. This is just a story.
2005, bro.
No big deal.
I was a sophomore in high school.
I know.
Damn.
My child.
And so to me, it's like really, I'm still not acclimated to the fact that 2 million people plus on your Instagram account participate on some level in the exchange. Like it's just weird because I'm just not used to it, right? There's all these people participating. Let's say Rich was just your neighbor, right? And he accidentally cut a tree branch off of your tree, so you were like, then you told the other neighbor, hey, fucking my neighbor Rich cut the tree off my tree branch, he's a douche. Then he told your neighbor, and it would just be between the three of you. But instead it's like this whole it's like being in the world's largest stadium and everyone's fucking chiming in. And part of me is just not part of me, I'm just fascinated by this bizarre like place humanity's gotten, where it's just two dudes talking about working out together and everyone has an opinion.
Dude, hold on before Matt replies. My buddy, who like he's one of my best friends, doesn't really know much about CrossFit at all. Doesn't even really know like that I'm have been in CrossFit however long that people know, like, know who I am if I walked into a CrossFit gym and things like that. He texted me, he's like, dude, I just heard about this whole Rich and Matt thing. And I'm like, what? I was literally blown away. I'm like, dude, you don't even like, he couldn't even tell you like the places I've taken at the CrossFit Games or probably how many times I've been there, but he heard about Matt and Rich. I was like, oh my God.
So like, I look at social media, like it's pretty wild. I look at it in a way of like, it is an absolutely incredible tool. Like if you post about like your interest in something, you're immediately connected to people that you would never meet in a million years that also have the same interest. Like you can start these conversations, and like I have friends around the world that I've taken trips with, I've like done things with, like stay in contact with them every day, because of social media, because we would have never crossed paths otherwise. So I look at it in that way of like, this thing is an incredible tool for connecting people. The other side of it, the dark side, is like if before you had to be involved in the situation to have an opinion on it, because otherwise you would have never heard about it. And then before, it was like, before you had a platform to speak your opinions, you had to have a lot of other people agree with you and be like, this is great stuff, we need to share this with the world. And they would put you on a podium and like put a mic in front of your face. And so it's rough listening to other people's opinions, that it's like, you have no idea what you're talking about, like none. But you got to take the good with the bad, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a great point.
My take on it.
No,
go ahead,
Sevan.
Josh. Sorry.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
My pleasure. And just like I condense, there's so much information in the world, so obviously I'm just always just condensing shit. But when I heard your story, it was like, hey, this guy told me basically I couldn't work out in his gym, and that sucks, and so I don't work out there, and it's just a little weird, and that's it. That's all I heard. And then I heard Rich responds with, well, Matt's lying, but I actually, I was injured and I actually didn't want to work out with him, so I did kind of shun him. And then I'm like, all right, cool. So that's just like two dudes, just like who lived in the same town and and that's it. That would be my summation of it. And then my DMs fill up like crazy, people asking me what I know. I'm like, I only know what you know. I just saw two dudes, like, it's Rich's gym. If he wants to tell Matt to fuck off, you can't train in it, fine. And maybe, and then Rich kind of admitted that he did say that, and then kind of backpedaled. And I'm just like, what? Like, so like, it's just, I guess maybe because people hold you in such high self-esteem, they want to picture you guys like always hanging out together and going on double dates. And
I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact that like, and like I've been guilty of it as well, of like, if there's someone that has a trait that you admire and like you don't know this person personally, like you just see one little snippet, or like you follow along and like you like that one trait about them, well, now you're putting them on this pedestal and you're filling in their narrative with other stuff that you like, and so you just make these assumptions on like, oh, well, he was really nice to me in this situation, so he would never treat this situation like that. So I think that there's just a lot of that. And like, I mean, what the people see on social media, I mean, that's like a micro snapshot of someone's day. And
no, it's their whole life. They know everything about them.
Yeah, right.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, there was like, I read a lot of comments that were just like comical, of like nope, not true. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not making this shit up. So I mean, there was a lot of comments that were like so wrong that it was just comical. But then I mean, it's just frustrating of like, there's a lot of moving pieces going on here, and you don't know, like you haven't been here, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like in CrossFit, like we talked about this yesterday, Matt. Matt and I had a pretty good conversation yesterday for about an hour. And
wait, where was I?
You weren't there.
You weren't invited.
You didn't need to be there. Nobody cares. So we got, when someone can appreciate someone for something that they do. Matt's a 5-time CrossFit Games athlete. One of the greatest to do it.
I'm a 7-time CrossFit Games athlete. Let's get that right, Josh.
Yeah, right. My bad. So
what do you mean? What do you mean one of the greatest? Why can't you just say it?
He's one of the greatest. That's what I said. He's one of the greatest.
No, but why don't you just say the truth? He is the greatest.
Whatever. Dude, I'm not here debating that.
All right.
What I'm talking about is people are going to appreciate you, and they're going to defend you for whatever it is. I mean, and for Rich, it's going to be the exact same thing, right? No matter what you say, what anyone says, Rich is going to be great in their eyes for everything. I told Matt this story the other day, and not saying this about anybody, but like, here's just how silly people can get, right? There was a guy in my high school area where I wrestled. He was like a 2-time state champ. His senior year in high school, he murdered someone. He literally killed someone else. I believe it was like his sister's boyfriend or something like that. People were defending him because he was this great wrestler. You're like, it doesn't matter what kind of wrestler he is. It doesn't make this person a great person in every aspect of their life. It's the same with Joe Paterno, right? And people will probably hate me on this for saying this. Joe Paterno was hiding the fact that little boys were being molested, but by his own coaches to save the sanctity of Penn State football. It's disgusting. It's the most disgusting thing in the world. If you hate me for it, then that's fine. I hate you too. But like, that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? There's just, it doesn't, because you're great at one thing in your life does not mean you're great at everything in your life. Nobody is perfect.
Yeah.
Right. That may even been.
Yeah, I think people are just taking. Yeah, they're taking how good you are in one area and projecting it into everything else, and it's like, that's not the truth at all. Like,
right.
I mean, it's just wild. Of like, it's so easy to take someone else's inventory. It's like, oh, they did this wrong, like, and it's like, especially from a distance on social media, of like, yeah, it's, you gotta take the good with the bad, I guess.
Hey, what do you think? I was thinking about taking a poll for this first podcast. People could put in the comments which one of us you could vote for, which rank us from smartest to dumbest, and then I'll count them all up. We'll just take a poll. You just put them. You write the names in the comments in the order of who's smartest to dumbest, and then the next week we could do like who's strongest, and then we could do who's best looking, and every week we could have a little like. So we know we can adjust our self-esteem on the next show based on where we rank.
Week by week,
we can get our rank.
Right, week by week, someone has to win. I like it. I like this.
And so let's say if Josh is number 3 and the smartest, like we'll just refer to him as number 3 the whole next show. Hey, number 3, pipe down.
I think we all know that's the truth.
I mean, Josh, what are you by trade? A mortgage broker?
I have been, yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I know you as.
Mortgage broker. That's right. I'm the mortgage broker.
Who says that? What are you by trade? What are you from the East Coast? What are you by trade?
Who's your kin? Are you kin to some Tom Jones? I'm like,
what's your surname, Mr. Matt? What's your surname?
Oh man, good times.
I had to put my phone down because the highway patrol just rolled up next to me.
Oh, great. Man,
if only one of us or all 3 of us had planned for this podcast.
I'm just, it's funny too. I deserve it because I'm always bragging on the internet how good my 4th grade math skills are. Like I'm just like a adding and subtracting wizard. And then I was like, and I even told Haley, I said, hey, take the kids out of the house at 4 o'clock. I'm doing this podcast. I'm so excited about it. And I mean, I was giddy like a 5-year-old on Christmas Eve. And then all of a sudden you text Matt, are we going to do this? And I felt my fucking asshole just.
Well, I thought it was
like,
strange.
oh my God.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this podcast is starting in like 2 minutes and I haven't gotten a link or anything yet.
And I had 4 pages of notes, and I had some questions about Sammy I wanted to ask you.
You took notes.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring up Josh's high school photo. I had all sorts of great shit on there. Have you ever seen his high school photo, Matt?
I don't think so.
With my blonde tips? Is that the one you're talking about?
Oh, that was the shit back in the day.
It's like this.
Josh's high school photo should give everyone hope that just because you're ugly in high school doesn't mean one day won't grow up to be something special.
So what you're saying is you wouldn't have had the camera on me at the CrossFit Games if I was back in high school.
No.
Yeah, this is a good topic.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right.
Sevan, how would you pick who to videotape back when you were employed?
It's the same way I pick now. Just whoever's the coolest, whichever one of my kids is being the coolest, I put the camera on. Seriously, it was all, I mean, let's say there was 100 athletes there. It was like, you obviously wanted to film the top guys, but then from there, it just became who had the best personality. And so I always found it more difficult to crack the women than to crack the men. And I don't think it was just me. I think the women have a different game going on in their head than a lot of the guys. There were obviously some huge exceptions. I mean, Sam Briggs was fucking gold, but it was just who was willing to talk to you, who was easy. There was one games where you scared me off so much I just stopped filming you. I was just like, all right, fuck that. I'm not
Wait, who, me or Josh?
I don't remember what happened.
Definitely
not
not
Josh. Josh has always loved me.
I stared you off?
Josh is like hugging Josh is like hugging a warm hot dog. You're like hugging a tree, and Dave Castro is like hugging an iceberg. Like, that would be my
warm hot dog.
Like when you take a warm hot dog out of the pan,
You eat hot dogs? Wait a minute.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I eat hot dogs.
Are you kidding me? The way that you're no sugar, your rants about sugar and nitrates and all these other things that people should be doing, and you eat hot dogs? How dare you?
I eat a lot of hot dogs.
I don't even know what a nitrate is.
Me neither. But my Haley's dad, Josh, be gentle. Haley's dad died from nitrates, I think, eating too many nitrates, so she scared me off of them.
What is a nitrate?
Yeah, Josh, now what? Now, huh? Someone's dad died. I don't know what they are. I just know you're not supposed to eat them. They cause your so look at Josh's karma caught him. No one can hear you, Josh. Oh, he took a call while we're on the Zoom call. Look at him.
Is Josh about to get in a fight?
It looks like it. He's all puffy chested and walking around.
His mom's upset that he's tying up the phone line.
No. Our dial-up internet, okay, only gets so much. No, my son comes down and he goes, someone just killed Mike Pence. I was like, what did you just say?
No, that's not true, is it?
No, I don't think so. My son's a jokester. They broke into his office. They broke into his office, though, I guess. Yeah. And there's like protesters in his office. I literally was like having a little bit of anxiety there for a second.
You guys froze. What happened?
So my son came down and he goes, Dad, someone just killed Mike Pence. And I'm like, what? So that was why my face was looking like that. He's a joke.
You know the difference between my kids and Josh's?
Is your 8-year-old involved in politics?
Oh, my 10-year-old. Very much so. He watched the election more than I did.
Yeah. That's the difference between my kids and Josh's kids. My kids don't joke
did die. A senator did.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, look, a girl died. It just said.
They're saying a senator was killed.
Are you
Oh,
kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's like,
What, in like protest?
yeah, they broke into the I don't know.
How
my
does that
brain's
happen?
mush.
How does
I
that
don't know.
happen? You know, it's like when I hear about police stations people lighting police stations on fire while there's police in them. I'm like, how does that happen? Why don't you just open fire on the crowd at that point?
Right. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on. I have to. Yeah, that's nuts. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's true or not. What they're saying, because I'm not seeing it anywhere
No,
else.
but someone actually did.
Yeah, but they're not saying that. There would be like breaking news running across like a senator died. Don't lie. Don't sit here and lie. I'm on a phone call.
Josh, spank him.
Man,
Spank him.
Come here.
that's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, that's great. Whatever. Either way, it's pretty crazy what's going on right now. What's happening? So.
Do you think
Yeah,
we're gonna have
I
a
mean,
second?
the whole last
Go
the
ahead,
whole
Matt.
last year has just been crazy. Like I was working out down in like Tampa, Florida, and like the gym owner like kind of got everyone's attention. They're like, hey, there's a riot going on like 3 blocks down there. If the crowd starts coming this way, we all need to get in cars and like get out of here. And I was like, how is this reality right now? Like, how are we like worried about this happening? No,
It's
wild.
It's nuts, man. It's absolutely wild stuff.
How does it? Did you see the picture that Rich posted of the two of you?
They both posted it. Where are you at?
Oh.
We both posted
Oh.
it, man. What, do you not
Okay,
follow
so-
me?
No, well, I do, but like I only go to the accounts that people send me.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about Dave's post about you guys holding the safe? Did you see that?
No, I saw he tagged me in something on his story this morning, but it was just like highlighting comments. I didn't see anything past that.
No,
was
on his feed, he posted a picture of you and Matt and Rich holding a safe together.
You, Tia, and Matt holding a safe, and it said to simpler times. It was pretty funny. It
Oh
was
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, back in the day, yeah, life was a lot simpler. It was way cooler when you just got to work out and not give a fuck about anything else. And
times.
I'm sure Dave gets to tag Rhino medals and try to get another safe.
And so how does that play out? You guys get on the phone, you guys say, hey, this is stupid, let's squash this, let's post a picture and tell everyone to shut up and move on with our lives.
Yeah, so we met and we basically just like the two of us sat in a room and kind of went through all the shit from over the years. And yeah, like it's not like
just the two of you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a couple of days ago. We have tried to line up, or I've tried to line up like us sitting and talking since May, like 4 times, and it just never happened. And so the other night I texted him, I was like, hey, like we're doing this, like you, me, just sit down and talk. And it was kind of like push back, and I was just like, no, I'm not taking this. I'm leaving in a couple of days on a trip. Like, no, we are meeting. And so we did. And we just talked shit out. Some apologies were made. And it's not like it's just like perfect. Like shit happened that happened. And but I mean, it was just good. It was the first time that we've had a meaningful conversation in probably like 2 years.
That's good, man. It's
It is
good to
what it
hear.
is.
It's good to hear. I'm glad to hear you guys are squashing the bullshit. And exactly, it's just all a bunch of silly drama.
I like that.
I
Wait,
didn't hear what
Sevan,
you
you
said.
say something?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said.
No, I tried to. My fucking phone went out. I was just saying that me and Josh had a beef like that. We had a.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
yeah.
called Josh. I forget what I called him. I called him something derogatory, much harsher.
Called called me a runt in 2011. I hated you for years.
Oh,
yeah, I called him
man.
a runt.
Oh,
I remember
what? Oh,
I remember, yeah.
that hurt.
I remember at the 2011 games, I was thinking in my head, like, he came up to me after the games were over, right? I'd taken second, crushed every hope and dream and every little condescending smart ass remark he had and made him feel stupid. And he came up to me after the games were over. I was actually I think I was leaving the venue on Sunday. And he's like, oh man, he had his little stupid camera in my face. And I talked to him for a second. And then he put it down. He's like, man, you just really impressed me this week. And I wanted to punch him right in the throat right there. And just be like, yeah, that's right. Don't ever say anything stupid again. But I didn't.
I never met him before, Matt, and I called him a runt that has no chance of winning the games.
I mean, calling someone a runt, calling someone short or weak, that's one thing. But a runt,
right?
Oh, those are words. Those are words from someone that's never been punched in the mouth.
Yeah, that might have been one of the very first questions when me and Sevan actually started having conversations and started talking and started kind of becoming friends. That was one of the first things I was like, I bet you either one got beat up a lot growing up or you've never been beaten up.
I've been beaten up a few times. I've had more beatings than I've given.
Sevan, have you ever been punched?
Yeah. All my bottom teeth are chipped because I was fucking punched. So some guy, fucking giant dude, punched me and knocked me out with one punch. So I cut out. Hey, I have to be the luckiest guy in the world to have both of you guys do a podcast with me and then to fucking be driving around in my car with fucking this guy crying at me. Jesus.
That was good times. I'm excited. I'm really.
Did you hear any of that?
I heard all of it. Yeah, I heard all of it.
Did I leave?
Yeah. Matt, did you hear it?
What happened to Matt?
I think Matt. Matt, you there, buddy?
Oh God, I hope that's
Matt.
Matt.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Oh yeah, I think someone's internet's messing up. I heard what you said.
It's me.
Yeah.
I missed it all.
Yeah, I got punched in the face. I've been punched in the face a few times. One time a guy jumped me. A bunch of guys jumped me. I was walking down the street and there was 5 guys walking towards me and I was with a couple friends and my friends went out in the street.
Here we go.
My friends went out in the street and I stayed on the sidewalk and let the guys pass me and I got fucking punched in the face and knocked out and all my fucking
You got
teeth
knocked
chipped.
out?
Yeah.
See it. Sounds about right.
Totally unfair. Hey, I didn't even say anything. It's not like I even said anything.
I'm sure you were total.
Wednesdays.
Oh man, it's getting bad.
This is all my fault, by the way. Say that again, Matt.
I said I'm sure you did nothing to provoke them, right?
No, nothing. I was just chilling.
A victim.
Hey, are we gonna schedule this thing? Are we gonna schedule this thing for Wednesdays from now on?
I could do Wednesdays.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're actually going to be at your house and not driving.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never ever gonna drive again. I apologize. This is disgusting.
Unbelievable. Unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm pulling into a parking lot with good reception when my kid complains. Hold on a second. I gotta put you guys on mute while I say something to him.
He's putting us on mute. He cuts his kid out. Oh, that's good times right there. That's good times. Oh man.
All right, so the two things we need from the crowd, from the audience is we need to be ranked in order of intelligence and we need a name for the show.
I love it.
All right, should we all say our highest level of formal education?
No, that
Are
sounds
they
stupid.
just judging from this conversation?
Yeah, just judging off the conversation. No one cares that you got a freaking engineering degree, Matt. Shut up. All right.
Matt's
I
trying to load the
no one-
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I have
one
a
cares.
business degree. I have a business degree as well, and a minor in math. So
Yeah,
I mean,
well, you know,
that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
I have a trident, so it's not a big
I
deal.
was on the dean's list for 3 years. So
Hey, I was homeless for 2 years. I lived on the streets. I went to the school of hard knocks.
2 years.
2 years.
I
And then I lived in the car for 5 years after that.
I went
Dude,
to Lindenwood University and NAI school, and I went there for a whole year, so I win. It's not a big deal.
You went to Lindenwood?
Yeah.
Dude, I almost went there.
Did you really?
Yeah, they had a weightlifting program.
Yeah, they did. They still do. I actually know the coach.
You do?
Hey, don't you get
Yeah.
dinged some
Who's the
points
coach
for
there
being
now?
a weightlifter?
He's this Chinese guy, like something Chang, I believe.
Oh my God. I didn't realize he was there. He was at Northern Michigan when I went up there to check out the facility there, and it was a disaster.
Really? Yeah.
Dude, his daughter lived in, if this is the same guy, his
Yeah.
daughter lived in Toronto, and so he would only hold weightlifting practice on Thursday morning, and then he would take the team van and like leave for the weekend. He would lock the gym so no one could train, like Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and he would get back like Mondays. And in this process, he totaled 2 vans. And
Nice.
finally they were like, all right, you're gone, buddy.
Beat it, nerd. Yeah, I think that's a guy. Yeah.
I'd like
how-
to say two things about Matt's story. One, if you're impressed that he's like on the dean's list or whatever that is, also remember he's a meathead weightlifter. And two, you notice the consistencies in the stories. That's the second story we've talked about on this podcast where Matt's been locked out of the gym. So just take that into account, people. I mean, you got to go for themes.
I think once it's someone else's fault. Twice, now we're seeing a pattern.
To be fair,
Exactly.
I was never locked out of the gym. I had a key.
Hey, good point, Sevan. Well put.
You know what
No,
I mean.
I was only there. I was there for like a week, like getting like a tour of the campus and meeting the coach and all that stuff. I think we left after 3 days. We're like, all right, I think the answer's pretty clear on this one. We're not gonna come here. And that's why I moved to Colorado.
This is just digging in the dirt, but it was so funny when Rich said he had a key to my gym, and it was just like, it was like having the key to your ex-girlfriend's house. It's just like, it was so obvious that you weren't welcome there from all the other shit he said, that you had the key. It's like me having 4 pit bulls in my house and being like, dude, here's the key, come on in. I felt bad for him that he even had to address it. It was so weird.
That was the one thing that I was like, I never said I didn't have a key, but like we were told like you're not allowed to come here. And so we were like, all right, well, we're not going to go there. Like once I'm told something, it's like, I'm not going to like completely just like throw away what you just told me and go against what you said. Like, no, you told me not to show up, so I'm not going to show up. Like I never said I didn't have a key. But yeah, I mean, that whole process, that whole thing, like I was pissed at Tia when she first told me, because I was like, Tia, why did you ask permission?
Right.
Like you asked forgiveness after. Like, don't ask permission. Why would you do that? We have a key. We could have just kept doing what we were doing. And yeah, so.
So Matt, you how far out do you know your schedule? What makes you think that? I think both of you are going to be difficult to do a weekly podcast with.
I will not be difficult. I won't be difficult at all. It'll be pretty simple, actually.
Are you kidding me? I've asked you to be on the podcast like 30 times, and then until Matt said yes, I couldn't get you.
You told me don't lie. Let's not say lie. Hey, is this the theme of this, like liars? Is that the theme of this one or something?
I'm not lying.
Because you were like, hey, I want to do a podcast with you where like we host a podcast, and I was like, Sevan, I think that sounds awesome. Let's do it. You're like, one, I don't think you need me, and you'll outshine me, and you'll make me look stupid. And then I never heard then there was like, I don't remember what the other thing you said was, but you never followed up with it. I was all for it.
I said let's do a podcast, and you couldn't do 7 a.m. And I asked you dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, now you're changing your story.
Who gets up at 7 a.m.?
Exactly.
Guys,
Not
we are
we're-
we are all of us are unemployed. Like, why
Yeah.
are you waking up that early?
right.
Because I
Don't
have
do that.
kids. Because I
I
have
don't
kids.
care. I have
And if
children
you-
too. That's a sorry ass excuse, Sevan. I have children too. Getting up at you go to bed at 1 o'clock and get up at 6. You're gonna die of cancer and Parkinson's disease, bro.
I don't normally get
It's-
up at 6. I
it's
don't
a
normally get up
fact.
at 6. I get
It's
up
a
at 7.
fact. You need 8 hours of sleep. Get them. Come on, man. Look at your
Dude,
face. You don't
dude,
look
when,
good.
when
You
I'm
need
when
to
I'm
sleep.
training, it's like 10 hours minimum. I sleep so much. Sevan, you are so gray.
Hey, Matt, how much do you weigh, Matt?
Like usually,
Yeah.
like high 190s, I think.
And how
Don't
much do
listen
you
to this
weigh?
guy. First of all, Matt's a liar about all this kind of stuff, so don't even listen to him. He'll probably tell
Okay.
you he weighs 175 or something. But I weigh 170. Matt probably weighs 205.
Wait,
Because-
you really only
No.
weigh 170, Josh?
I weigh like 170, 172 ish. That's it.
Oh shit.
Really?
Okay. Wow.
Oh, I thought you would have been way more.
Yeah,
I've
me
never
too.
weighed- I don't think I've ever been more than 175. I think that's the highest I've ever been.
Yeah, I definitely had a period in my life where I got up to 205. When I started CrossFit, I was under 170. And like my first couple years in the sport, I would fluctuate between 169 and like low 200s. Like I would go back and forth. The last probably 4 years, I've stayed like between 195 and 200.
Have you ever thought about narrowing your body or waxing your body so you're as smooth as Josh?
No, I waxed my chest one time when I was like a teenager because I was like the only kid with chest hair, and it was like really weird. And it was such a terrible experience that I was literally like, I need to learn how to love myself for who I am, or like, because I'm never doing this again. It was the worst experience ever.
You're the hairiest CrossFit Game champion since 2009.
What, is
The
Khalifa
most
hairy?
winning and the hairiest. Yeah. Oh yeah. Khalifa was like a fur ball.
Yeah, man, it is what it is. You know, you gotta take what the big man gave you.
What do you think's
Oh,
worse? Me driving while doing the podcast and having a kid complain in the back that he wants to go home, or Josh constantly stepping off to make false reports of someone being shot in the United States government?
No,
I mean, you just jumped to a conclusion and said he was shot. I mean, you're as guilty as Josh.
Yeah, exactly. He could have been strangled. No, my dog was. Things are crazy, you know. My dog was like throwing up all over the place during this whole thing. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening.
Am I the only one that like scheduled my day around this?
No, I scheduled my fucking 4. I had my whole family leave the house at 4 o'clock today. You're the only one that's. Oh, I was gonna say it. You're the second smartest person on the call, Matt. Okay, so
good.
we'll hang up. I'll export this thing, and then I'll send out a new Zoom link for next Wednesday. Josh, God, doesn't Zoom convert those times for me? Will you still be in the same time zone next Wednesday, Matt?
I will not be.
I think if it's next Wednesday is the 13th.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, if it's the 13th, I'll still be in Miami. Yeah, and then on the 14th, I'm taking another trip, like a vacation, and I'm definitely not going to talk to you on vacation.
How long is your vacation?
Like it's only like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, perfect.
But
Why wouldn't you talk to us on
the 13th,
vacation? Why wouldn't you talk to us on vacation?
Oh no.
Does this feel like work to you?
No, I just don't want any possibility of talking about CrossFit while I'm trying to relax on a beach.
We should do a whole show, no CrossFit. I like it. I think that's great. I could talk about a lot of other things other than CrossFit.
Oh, it's my favorite. Dude, like
It's
like
my favorite.
all my friends back home, it's like I'll get a text from them after a competition of like, hey man, good job. I'm like, thanks. And then that's the end of our conversation about exercising.
And then we should
Tell us
talk
more
about
your.
we should talk about guns too. About why Josh doesn't have any.
I got these ones right here, bro. Those ones
I mean,
right there.
Josh, I know you have one nice one where you're at right now.
I do. I have an AR here. I have a flamethrower here as well.
Did you get one of those flamethrowers?
Oh
Dude,
yeah,
aren't those things?
Nate's the man, dude. Nate's the
Dude.
man.
I love those guys.
Right.
I was actually texting with him this morning, but like I remember when he posted that flamethrower, I was like, why do I not have one of these yet? And he's like, would you post about that? I'm like, of course
Yeah.
I'll post about it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Nate's awesome. I went to SHOT Show with him last year. Actually, I actually went hung out at the booth for him and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, I've gone the 2 years prior with them. Yeah, Nate and James. I don't know why I didn't go last year.
Yeah, because I remember texting.
I was competing. I was competing in London last year.
That's right. Yeah, because I remember. Yeah. Because I remember texting you, be like, "You own SHOT?" And you're like, "No." And I was like, "Oh man, I was pumped. It was fun. It was my first time actually. It was awesome."
Yeah,
it was my second time. Sorry, it was my second time.
Yeah, I've been twice, and I mean, like, dude, my first year, I was like a kid in a candy store. Just like, I went in there with no plan, and I remember I spent a whole day, like 8 hours, just bouncing from random booth to random booth. And then my buddy that was working at a booth texted me. He's like, "Oh man, you're at SHOT Show. Like, swing by. So come say hi." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Where are you?" Like, he gave me his booth number, and he was like 750. And I looked up. And I'm like, I'm at the.
You cut out, Matt. I can't hear you anymore. Can you hear him, Sevan?
As soon as I started driving, I control the show. No, I can hear you. As soon as I started driving, it looks like he's talking to someone now. He's pulling Josh Bridges.
I think his headphones might have cut out.
Yeah, sorry, my headphone. I didn't realize that they were also connected to my phone, and it was ringing. And so I'm like sitting here listening to the jingle. But yeah, it wasn't until the end of the first day of SHOT Show that I realized there was like 3 or 4 stories of it. I thought it was just the one level, and I killed a full day. And I was like, I need to come back here tomorrow to complete this level. And then I was like, it's just overwhelming. So now when I go in there, I have a plan. I have a itinerary of all the booths I want to hit.
Right. That place is awesome.
What is it?
Sevan,
It's just a giant
hold on.
gun.
Hold on.
What?
Sevan, put your seatbelt on, for crying out loud. It is literally just dinging in my ear.
Hey, what is this SHOT Show? It's just a place where you just go and shop for guns and shit?
Yeah, it's just a gun convention.
Yeah, it's like the world's biggest gun show in Vegas.
Don't you get invited there because you're a SEAL or something, Josh? Like to stand in front of a booth in a bikini or something? Isn't that what Andy and Dave do?
Well, the one year I was with I always typically go with a company and stand at a booth or something, but not like, just for fun.
It's like a SEAL. It's a SEAL reunion, isn't it?
There's a lot of team guys there. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we shot guns. Does it offend you to even talk about, to say the G word?
No. I own a gun. I'm like you though. I don't have anything. I don't post about it.
You own a gun? What do you own?
I don't know what it's called. It's this big.
You don't even know what it's called.
It's this big. God. It doesn't have a hammer.
Is it a revolver?
Yeah, it's made of carbon. It's a revolver. It's a 357.
It's not a revolver. You said it doesn't have a hammer.
It doesn't have a hammer. It's a hammerless revolver.
Yeah, there's
okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of revolvers that have an internal hammer.
I got a little tiny safe, you punch in the code, it click, the door opens up, there's bullets just fall out of the case everywhere.
Why do you need a gun?
Just in case Josh comes over.
That's true. That's a fact. You do. It's like Dave posting about, that's what Dave's gonna need for that boxing match. So about the same.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Dude, I hope it happens.
I
don't even care.
Is this a real thing? Or is it just like you both want attention?
I want trying to stay relevant, Matt. Play off, bro. Okay. Not all of us won 5 CrossFit games. I would love to box anyone. I don't care who it is. And I just remember Dave posting about getting taught boxing not a couple years ago or something like that. And so I started, doing some boxing lessons and stuff like that, and doing it now for some of my training actually, because I get such a great workout doing it, and I just love it. I love all combat sports in general. And so you know, me and Dave just kind of calling each other out is was it at first just out of fun, and then to be honest, it'd be such a cool thing to do for an exhibition match and maybe raise some money for some charities or something. That'd be really cool. I'd love it.
Gosh,
And plus,
have you ever sparred, or do you only hit pads when you train?
I've sparred a couple times.
Like, are you sparring someone like your size, or is it just kind of like it doesn't matter because you're just sparring? I know nothing about it.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. They've both been about my size though. One guy was a little bit bigger than me, but yeah, it was such a blast. It was so much fun. Nothing makes you feel more alive than getting punched in the face. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's wild.
It feels.
Yeah, hey Josh, you don't train, by the way. You don't train. You work out. Matt trains.
I exercise.
Yeah, you exercise. Yeah, you work out, but you don't train. You don't have like a goal. It's not your profession. You're not in an intramural sport. You're not. You're just
goals. I always have goals.
You know
I
what
would
I
say
mean.
it's definitely still his profession. Like,
yeah,
Josh,
I haven't retired.
Like Josh, you're still getting paid for it, right?
Exactly.
You're a professional.
I still have income. Yeah, thank you, Matt. Thank you.
I've seen a lot of people on Instagram doing a lot less.
He's
calling themselves pros.
He's a fitness celebrity. He's like Jillian Michaels, or those type of people. Like he had a place in a sport, and he used to train for that sport, and now he just works out.
No, put your picture back up. Don't be scared.
I didn't. I just did. It's a dear friend of ours calling.
Mr. Castro?
I'm not friends with him. I was really surprised Dave was having fun with the Rich and Matt thing. I'm gonna have to tell you, that was like way bizarre.
How are you surprised by that?
Because he normally has the most boring
to try to make.
That's
stirring
my
the pot to make sure people are miserable. Like, I feel like that's just bread and butter.
Well, that's true.
Dave's so misunderstood though, man. Come on. That poor guy.
No, Matt understands him perfectly. It's us who don't understand him, Josh.
Oh man, Dave's a good guy at heart. He's got a tough job. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. All right. We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Fair enough.
You guys don't have a good relationship, Matt?
I mean, it depends. Like, I think he said some really shitty things about me, like publicly, and then like when we're one-on-one, it's very like buddy, and I remember like after the games, like leading into the games, like it was just like he's like saying some not nice things about me, and I was just okay, like take it in stride, whatever. And then after the games, it was like, hey, like, are you gonna stick around? We should line up a day, like shooting, hanging out. And I was like, are you serious? Like, you just wrote a whole article about how I'm slipping, and now like I'm like, no, someone who says something like that about me, like I'm not gonna hang out with them and spend time with them. Like, yeah, you're free to say whatever you want, but like, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on, but like anytime I've been one-on-one with him, it's been great. I'm like, dude, why are we not friends? But then there's just some stuff that gets said out in public, or like when I'm not around, that makes me question other things.
Makes sense.
I mean,
makes total sense.
Like,
he treats Josh the same way. Josh just needs friends more badly than you do.
I do. I don't have very many friends. It's a fact. Small book.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I've been told different things of why he like did that whole thing. It's talking about why I'm slipping and all that stuff, and I don't know. I've never really asked. I not even really asked. I haven't asked. But I just know, like, I think about like if one of my friends from back home like said some stuff, I'd be like, oh, okay, like now we have a problem. Like, even if that's what you think, say it to me. Don't say it publicly. But I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know if he actually thought that stuff, or if he was just trying to create some hype, or like if he was just trying to like
hype man.
I don't know. Yeah.
Just hype it up.
He probably meant it. He doesn't. it may have been to do hype, but if he said it, he meant it. He don't fuck around.
Yeah, I just don't know like what, like when that got said, I just didn't know what like evidence or like what he was basing that off of.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
that's what I was like just about to say. It was like, how would he even know if you're slipping or not?
Yeah,
Why? Because he
like
like watched you at another competition or something, you know? Like,
I mean, the one competition I did do went phenomenal for me. Like that was back in January, and then I withdrew from the road competition because of an injury, and that was like, I think that was the first competition I've ever had to withdraw out of in my whole career. I was like, all right, like 8 years of competing, and I had to withdraw out of one. Like, I think that's a pretty good record. I don't know, but so yeah, I didn't know what he was basing
trying to
that
skate,
off of.
Matt. I see you trying to skate, bro. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
No big
man.
deal, Tony Hawk. Take it easy, Tony Hawk.
Hey Matt, Josh? Who's the next Matt Fraser? Is he in the show now already? No, he's not there.
Who took second last year?
Samuel Quant.
Do you think he's the next Matt
think-
Fraser?
I
Because
think
we got to remember,
there's
you got to remember the last two. What Matt did was what Rich did was they came in, they took second, and then they won. That Matt took second twice, but then won the rest of the time, right? I don't think. Go ahead, Matt.
I think there are a handful that have potential to
Ricky
like
Gerard?
be a very to. All right, that's a whole nother topic I'll touch on right after this.
Just kidding.
There's I think there's a handful of guys that have the potential to be very dominant in the space. It's just like if they make the changes that they need to make. Because like I've thought that before about another competitor, and then just like got some Instagram followers, his training changed, and he wasn't taking the steps that he needed to take to, fill in the weaknesses or just elevate everything else equally.
Are you talking about Vellner or Frykowski?
No,
I don't think
no,
Frykowski. I think Frykowski. I think you were talking about Frykowski, but go ahead.
No, it wasn't Vellner.
Yeah.
I won't say the name because I really do like the guy. But I like the first time I competed against him, I was like, I'm worried about this guy. Like he has potential to be amazing. And then it just didn't really pan out. But now that there's still some names, and I'm willing to bet, I think one of the names will do great things in the sport. But the whole Ricky Gerard thing,
and he's in the sport now.
Yeah. The whole Ricky Gerard thing.
Tell us who it is. What?
I think Justin Medeiros has a lot of potential to do great.
I completely agree with you. That dude can be a stud for sure.
Yeah, like I think
he's a worker.
I think the weightlifting numbers, like I look at things like his weightlifting numbers aren't where they need to be like the top in the game right now.
And he's 21.
But he has the technique. He has the foundation to build off of. There's things that he has that are weaknesses, but he has the potential. He has the foundation to build off it. And I've stayed in contact with him a little bit. Like I'll talk to him every once in a while, and I think that he's making the right moves. I think he will have a fantastic career in CrossFit.
Yeah. I can see it as well. I agree with you there.
But the Ricky Gerard thing, he got a 4-year ban, right? And I saw like people posting of like, should Ricky be allowed to compete this year in the games? And I'm looking at like, I thought he had one more year. Like what? Like he got banned in 17, so then suspended for 18, 19, 20, 21. Right? Like, or am I doing like fuzzy math? Am I missing something?
That's what I would think too. And he popped in August of 17. So you would think it would just start from there, right? I don't know how they do it either. I would think that August to 18, August to 19, August to 20, August to 21. So he wouldn't be able to compete till 22. That's what I thought too. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember seeing a bunch of people like debating on if he should be allowed back in. And I was like, well, yeah, like once his suspension's up, obviously he should be allowed back in. Like, yeah, he did something stupid and he got punished and he served his punishment. But I thought like I don't think no, you need to serve your 4 years. Like that was the ban. That's what everyone gets. But yeah, so I was kind of surprised. I didn't know if that was like an actual talking point of if like
Was
his
it
4-year ban
Dave
was
that
up, or if
posted
they were
that?
letting him. It may have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I
mean, it
think
was a while back.
Yeah, I remember seeing it too as well somewhere, and I thought the same thing. I was confused. I was like, why wouldn't you have one more year? Because if you pop in August, wouldn't your suspension start from that date? Not like not just call that a season, not call it that whole year because you got removed
Yeah.
from the games that year or whatever. So I agree. I don't know what but I don't know what the whole how it exactly works. I obviously like in UFC and stuff like that, the suspension always backdates or something. There's always like that gray area where it backdates and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah,
so
John
I
Jones
didn't know
got
if it was, like-
suspended, and then he was fighting again. Like it seemed like in a year.
It was like 8 months later because they backdated the suspension almost a year and a half or something like that. It was weird. Yeah.
Damn, really?
Yeah, it was something weird
Something
like that.
weird
yeah.
happened.
But
I don't
to
pay close enough attention.
But to go back to your old point, right? You're talking about how you've seen athletes come into the sport. You think they're going to be great, right? And then they just disappear. I mean, I feel like that's been I've noticed that too, exactly from the very beginning, because people have no idea, right? You can go to the games one time. Everyone, I think a lot of people have the capability of making it to the CrossFit Games one time. But to do the grind that it takes to be a CrossFit Games athlete year in and year out, to stay healthy, through open regionals, like during our time, right, when we had opens and regionals, and you had to qualify through both, and you only had the one weekend. To do that and to keep distractions out of your life, and things like that, man, it's so difficult. And exactly, you'll see one guy come in one year, and you're like, this guy, oh man, this guy's got potential. He's going to be really good. And then you never hear his name again. And so, it won't surprise me with anything, but I agree with you 100% with Justin Medeiros. I loved watching him against you in the finals. I loved his grit. Even when it didn't matter, you could tell he was still putting the effort there. Like, it was like, he doesn't need to be putting this effort in right now. He could back off and still get the same amount of points he's going to get, but he didn't care. He wanted those, he just wanted bragging rights, I think, to beat you in a couple workouts.
Did he beat me in any workouts?
No, I'm not. No, he didn't.
No.
But he was putting the effort in to try.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Yeah,
you could tell.
Yeah, I don't even look at that at I saw him. I'm like, all right, he handles pressure great. He competes really well. All that stuff. The way I look at it is the way his body moves. I'm looking at his body mechanics, and I'm like, okay, those are movements that his body will hold up over the years. And I just found it I don't even want to say disappointing. I don't have any skin in the game with any of these other athletes, but there's been a few that came in around my time or a couple years later, and they would finish top 10 their rookie year, and I would be like I'm calling my shot. I think that person's going to have a great future. And then I think they just kind of either got distracted by only doing workouts that look good on Instagram, or instead of investing in themselves, they cashed in quick, and they start monetizing their stuff. So immediately they start getting distracted from their training. It's not as big of a priority. Just stuff like that. And it's like, man, you just wasted so much potential. And I don't have any contact with most of these athletes, so who knows? Maybe they don't have the potential. Maybe something got injured or whatever it was. There's so many variables that go into it. But yeah, there's been a couple, and I think this year, Medeiros definitely had a spotlight on him, and I don't think he disappointed anyone's expectations.
I think Samuel Quant, man, I think I was completely shocked at his performance. Completely shocked that he was even top 5. I
agree with that. Because for me, it was because he's been in the sport for a while.
Right. Yeah. He's been in for a bit.
Yeah. And yeah. So when he qualified top 5, it was wow, man, good job. Didn't see that one coming.
And then took second, and he was putting out, and he was fun to watch, and definitely put in some effort where, again, the same thing where I was like, oh man, he could probably back off right now, but he didn't. He kept the throttle to the ground and kept going. Yeah, it was fun.
And I think a big piece of that too, the guy that he had at the games as his coach, Harry, super experienced. He's been around the sport forever, and just has a great head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some of it was like he's getting some good advice from him, because I think Samuel is super young too.
Yeah.
I think he's
He
21 or 22.
I don't know if he's 21, 22, because he's been around since like he was supposed to be at my regional at 17. And
Yeah,
he was
but
injured, I believe.
When he first started qualifying for regionals, he was like 17.
And he was
Really?
the year he went to the
Yeah.
games. The first year he went to the games, he was the youngest dude there, and he
Yeah, I think
won the strength event that year at the games. It was kind of crazy. I forget what it was.
Double DT.
Okay.
Yeah, he won double DT, and I remember him being like a big talking point before.
That was
because he
16.
like 17 or 18 years old, and like double DT. I remember like I knew as soon as I crossed the finish line, I didn't get the winning time, but I was like, I remember asking like, well, who won it? Like, I'm just curious. It's like Samuel Kwan. I was like, what? Really? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a name you wouldn't expect. But he
He did
had
it.
some phenomenal events, like the swimming event this year at the games, the assault bike swim. Like, he smashed that workout. Like, I wasn't even close to. Like, I got second place, and I wasn't even like close to him. He was. Like
you were close. You were that. You weren't that far off.
The total time was 9 seconds. It wasn't just like I like slipped off the bike and he gained on me by half a second. Like, it was a substantial amount ahead of me.
If you want to say, if 9 seconds is substantial, sure, pal. But whatever.
Gosh, winner's mindset. He's got the winner's mindset. The winner's mindset.
He does. I love it. But he did have a kid. I did see that he had a kid.
Yeah.
And that's not that that's a bad thing, but that's going to cause him to have to change and structure his training around something else, and his sleep is going to be disturbed. So who knows what's going to happen now? I'm rooting for the guy. I like Sam. I think he's a good dude, and I hope he does well. But that is a game changer. That's very different.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear with having children.
He's done.
No, Sevan, you don't know.
Sevan,
you don't know.
Don't be
Sevan,
that guy.
You don't
know. It's my biggest fear of having children is interrupting my sleep. That's all I'm scared of. Is like,
no, you
can't
interrupt something you don't have. You can't interrupt something you don't have.
That's true.
You won't have any sleep. You won't have any sleep.
That's a fact.
And your wife will change. And your wife will change. Don't forget that. And you'll change. Don't forget that.
What an awful thing
to
say.
And your parents will change.
Oh,
everything will change around you.
Everything's bad. It's not all bad. It's all good.
No,
actually.
Most of
it's
not all
great.
bad. Unless you want to keep your CrossFit. Unless you want to keep your CrossFit career.
You know what? My career was done from the moment I started competing. I always had kids. So.
Yeah, imagine if you wouldn't, Matt would be just have a bunch of second place trophies.
What a jerk thing to say. I would never say that. Matt.
Hey, what do you guys think about having a guest? What do you guys think about having a guest on the show? Like, see this square down here on the bottom? Putting someone in there.
Are we not good enough for you?
Yeah.
Like,
no.
We're not even through our first episode, and you're like, dude, I'm tired of you guys.
Your guys' conversation sucks. Let's get someone else on.
No. Here's the thing I'm thinking, because we're talking about how, hey, the show doesn't even need to mention CrossFit. And we can
I think it's almost inevitable that it's going to.
I think we could do is we could make it more symmetrical and just remove Sevan, right? And then there's the 2 spaces down below. We could do that. I mean, that's
it was just Josh and I would get bigger.
There it is.
You guys would look like that. You like the way that looks? you guys wouldn't organize that. You guys wouldn't. I'm the glue. I'm the secretary.
No, I think we need Sevan in here to be the controversial one.
I do like it.
I'm not even controversial. You're the one controversial. You're the one fighting with the champ.
I'm not, and to be clear, I never fought. I never anyways.
Good stuff.
Okay, so 3 things we need. So these are the 3 things we need from people. We need a name for the show. Who's the smartest? Ignore any of Matt's fucking paper credentials.
Doesn't mean.
And we need a guest, someone who thinks they're worthy. And don't be like putting President Trump or Biden or something unless you got his phone number. Like if you got the dude's phone number, like don't be suggesting people to us because if we don't got their digits. I hate that when people are like, "How come you haven't had Fauci on your show?" I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah. People think you got some pull, bro.
I guess.
Nice. I like it.
Sevan, where can I find that arm wrestling video that you posted about this morning?
Netflix or iTunes.
It is on Netflix?
Yeah, it should be. It used to be.
All right, as long as it's free, I'm going to watch that.
Hey, it's really good. It's really good. You know, my claim to fame on that movie, it's Pulling John. And one of my friends, this was fucking way back in the day when the first Avatar came out. And my friend was like a Napster or whatever fucking wizard. He would just steal all the movies. And he's like, "Oh my God, look, you're the 10th most stolen movie right now." I'm like, "What's number one?" He said, "Avatar." I'm like, "Fucking A." I was so proud.
That's good. I like it.
That's awesome.
All right, great. I'm at home and I'm in my car. I promise I won't fuck this up again.
Don't do it or you're out.
I get it.
All right,
I
boys.
will.
We're signing off.
I will send you. Yeah, we're signing off.
All right.
We've
All right.
taken enough
Next
of your
week,
time, Josh.
We all need good Wi-Fi connections.
Yes,
Exactly.
100%.
Mine will be better.
No, mine will be perfect.
There it is.
I don't know about mine. I'll be the one on the road next week.
Sounds good.
All right, boys.
There you go.
Well, this was fun. And until next time.
Peace.
Gentlemen?
No, let me hang up. Let me hang up.